It's time for mass. Ah! Time to pray for the Messiah of YouTube. Ah! 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 Well, I lost one viewer. I guess I was too annoying. See, uh, what the hell? How much annoying could I get more? Do you want to see more? You want me to see me take my clothes off? Wow. Uh, I never done a webcam like that before. Wow. Wow. Imagine the possibilities of creating a YouTube video with me. Okay, I'll cut the crap. So, let's see how many viewers I get tonight. So far, I got 2 viewers. Um, Hoping I would get more. I figured since Saturday night, people are off of work. They don't have to go to bed early, so I thought I would make a live video, and I was hoping maybe people would actually see the live video. But I only got 2 viewers. Hopefully that number climbs. It's 10:52 p.m. here in southeastern Wisconsin land. Thank God I don't live in Illinois because Illinois sucks. You need new leadership. It's funny how these cities reopened after Trump's departure. It's amazing. And it makes logical people think. It was all a political game, not the virus, of course. I mean, the virus is real, but I think it's been overly politicized. I really do. But these people were just shutting everything down, and then all of a sudden, as soon as Trump's gone, let's reopen. Yeah, let's open everything up. Even in California, where Gavin Newsom is, there was this one woman whining and crying because her tent was shut down. She had not, and then you had another tent across the parking lot from hers that could stay open, but she had to close her tent down. Per Gavin Newsom. Hello, Wolf. How are you doing today? Me, I'm just acting weird, like usual. Everybody loves when I act weird. I was thinking one day, I got Roku, and they have the A-Team reruns, and I've been watching those periodically. There was one that I was starting to watch, a matter of fact, and I was starting to fall asleep. I was nodding off. And if I was an A-Team character, I'd be Murdoch, because Murdoch's the nut. I think we got a lot of Murdoch in us. We're all nuts. I'm just not afraid to cover it up. And I don't care. I do not care. I do not care. I mean, if somebody in this politically correct world, if somebody was going to hold a knife to my throat, I would just let them cut my throat because I'm not going to change for anybody. No, I'm not going to change. No, I'm still going to be the same lovable goofball idiot that everybody seems to love to hate or just love or whatnot. I'm not going to change for anybody. And if people want me to change, they should go crawl underneath a rock and just stay their miserable selves. I'm gonna be as crazy. I'm gonna be as crazy as I want to be. Anyways, right now we're going through a cold snap. It's supposed to last about a week. I guess tomorrow's gonna be colder, and yeah, tomorrow's gonna be colder. Um, this week, I was at work and it was snowing out, and the weather forecast, the meteorologist said on the news that you got to get this, you got to get your walk shoveled before it freezes. And I was thinking at work, I was like, I gotta get home. I gotta get home before the snow freezes. So I got out of work. It was 9 o'clock, and the meteorologist said early on, he was just like, wait until after 9 o'clock. That way, that when the snow quits, you don't have to worry about any more snow coming down. You just clear off your sidewalks before it freezes. So, anyways, I get out of work. I went to the Wendy's because they got the two for $5 crispy chicken deal. I love my chicken sandwiches. So I got a couple of those for $5, and then I got home. Um, I got in the door. I started eating the chicken sandwiches as I was looking out the kitchen window, and then I went straight to work outside after I got all bundled up and I got my boots on and stuff. I went straight to work outside, cleaning the sidewalks off and cleaning the stairs off and salting the walks, making sure that the windshields on the trucks were cleared off, and I just needed to get all this stuff done. I get all panicky when there's a big weather system coming. I just get all panicky. Um, I always got to make sure I got food in the house. I got plenty of food. I go a little bit too nuts on the food. Got to make sure there's food in the house. Um, got to make sure vehicles are gassed up. Got to make sure everything's all taken care of. And I was out there for like an hour. Got everything done, and I came back in the house. I cleaned the litter box out, and then I went to the living room and sat down just to unwind. Yeah, tonight I just got done having family over. I made some um, Dr. Pepper pulled pork. My sister's a big pulled pork fanatic, and she tasted my Dr. Pepper pulled pork, and she suggested that last time she was over here. So my brother and my sister came over here, and I made the pulled pork, and it was really good. And my sister cleaned up the kitchen, which is pretty awesome. I did not have to do that. Um, yeah. So yeah, it was nice having family over with the COVID. Nobody really wants to get together anymore, and they just want to stay away. And um, I mean, living alone, it's kind of nice, but it's also nice to have some company over every once in a while. So yeah, um, always nice to have company over. Um, yeah, I feel pretty fulfilled right now. I'll be good for a while yet, and hopefully in another month we'll have another gathering, and I will have another gathering, and I suggested another main course meal, so maybe we'll have that eventually. It depends what my sister's doing. So Anyways, yeah, I'm unwinding. It's been a good night, very good night. Um, have some Dr. Pepper left over. I haven't drank any since this afternoon. I've been trying to cut back on the soda. I've been doing okay, but I still love my Coca-Cola though. Nothing beats a can of Coca-Cola. Um, it just tastes good, and it also tastes good with rum too. Also, RC Cola is good. Rum and RC Cola, that's good, pretty good too. Besides, RC Cola is cheaper. RC Cola is cheaper. I think a lot of people. I think in Illinois. I don't know. I remember when I was in Boy Scout camp years ago. There was this camper from Illinois. He was a big RC Cola fanatic, and everybody else in Wisconsin they drank Coca Cola. I think so. I don't know if that's an Illinois thing or where I don't know if they drink a lot of RC out there. I have no idea. But it's good. It's cheap. All these cola sucks. It's there's really no flavor to that. All these cola. But if it wasn't for cola in general, I could give up soda. But I've been slowing it down. I've been trying to slow it down. Um, I'll have a can of it every 2 days if I'm lucky. But whatever. Oh yeah. I seen a video on YouTube. Somebody was making snowblower paddles out of old floor mats from vehicles, and I happen to have some floor mats around, and I happen to have a crappy small two cycle snowblower that needed paddles. So I cut a couple pieces of mat out, and I bolted them to the auger, and it seemed to work great. But I think the material for the mats was too brittle and it was too flimsy. So underneath heavy use, like chewing up snowbanks, you could see like shards of the mat coming off the auger. So I went to my brother's ex friend's auto shop, which is nearby, and I asked his boss. I was like, "You got some old tires laying around?" And I was like, "He was like, yeah." So we went to the back of the shop, and I found a couple. I found a used truck tire I could cut up. So I'm gonna try that using old tire material um, for auger. Silver Pup 78. Um, hello, nothing much. Um, just sitting here unwinding after a family evening get together, eating some Dr. Pepper pulled pork. It was nice having them around because with this COVID, nobody really wants to get together much. Living alone, it kind of is nice. It's kind of nice, but it's also nice to have company every once in a while. That sort of thing. Snowmobile track. I mean, if that's an idea, that's a really good idea. But there's really no snowmobiles being used around here. Usually, you would see the occasional snowmobile in an old field or something nearby here, but it's not like everybody uses them. That's the problem. The availability of them. Up north by my sister's house, I bet you my nephew could probably hook me up, no problem with those, because the snowmobiles are used commonly up there because they got country, they got land, they got country, woods, and snowmobiling is a common thing up there during wintertime. I mean, they got snowmobile trail clubs. It's pretty awesome. But I think a lot more people are going with the four wheelers now. compared to the snowmobiles, but I imagine there's probably still snowmobile clubs up there. Yeah, Dr. Pepper pulled pork. Um, Eventually, maybe I'll make a video on that sometime. On how to make that. What I did was I found a couple of I found a couple recipe videos on YouTube, and I compromised and I made one that suits me. But I don't use a slow cooker. I use a small Nesco roaster oven. Um, and- but with the slow cooker, I think you could leave it on your counter throughout your workday, and then when you would get home, the pork would be done. But with the Nesco, I think it cooks a lot faster. Uh, you 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 turn the thermostat to 250 degrees on the Nesco, and then you turn the temperature to 250 degrees and 250 degrees on the Nesco, and you just cook it low and slow. You don't want too fast. You don't want too fast of a temperature. Yeah, I don't know what's with that guy Young East. Um, hi. Yeah, cherry pork. Yeah, you could do it with all sorts of different sodas. That video, one of the videos I saw, he was doing it with Coca Cola, and you could also, yeah, do it with cherry Coke too. Yeah, my brother's friend, he's a big outdoorsman and he's a big barbecuist. Over the summertime, he had some pulled pork, but it was kind of an, I don't know. I like some sweetness with my pork. I do. His pork was unsweetened. I mean, yeah, it was a good effort, but not my type of pork. I mean, I like to have pork that's sweet. But yeah, it's funny looking outside. Speaking about power equipment, before, yeah, one of the things I do is before I put the pork shoulder before I put the pork shoulder in the Nesco, I like rub it. I sprinkle a bunch of like spices on it, and then I rub some brown sugar on it all the way over it. Just smear it all over after. No. First, I I pour some olive oil all over it, and then I add the spices, and then I um smear the what's that the brown sugar all over it, and then I put it in the Nesco, and then I add the Dr Pepper until the lever of the Dr Pepper reaches about an inch from the top, and then cook it at 250 low and slow. Yeah, I'd like to do a video of that sometime when I'm motivated and if I think of it. Um, there was something I wanted to make a video on, but I forgot something other than cooking. Oh, who is that channel? Frankie, Schwanky, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. Um, Back to power equipment. Um, Before all this snow came, I think it was late fall. I did a lot of like I sorted all I started my I sorted my stash in the yard, There was some power equipment that I just scrapped, and some that I just kept. And the ones that I kept, I put them all on the patio, and I put a nice big tarp over them. And now you look outside, and it looks like a mound of snow. You couldn't tell that, like, if you couldn't tell that the tarp was covering up all these old lawnmowers and stuff. It's like a grave in there. Usually the snow just goes off the tarp, but the snow's been staying capped on the tarp. So yeah, it's like a big grave back there. Big grave of equipment that is going to earn me money in springtime and summertime, hopefully. Um, yeah, I probably got roughly say about $300 worth of lawnmowers underneath there. Yeah, I still have the scooter. Um, it's got about 11,000 miles on it already. I bought it in 2008 with 536 miles, and I've driven that thing a lot in my area. I've gone I've I've ridden some pretty long distances in my area with that, and yeah, it's fun to ride. The rear tire had a slow leak over the summertime. Um, and because of the slow leak, I was like riding the scooter like with a partially flat tire, and it caused like a split in the sidewall or something, or like a dry rot area. So I'm gonna have to get a new rear tire. Yeah, it's a uh, Honda Elite 80. I was having a little bit of problems with the carb. Um, yeah, the I was having a little bit of problems with the carb. I took it apart, and it didn't run right after that. I almost thought of like actually buying a brand new one, a Honda one, but it was way too much money. So I just drove it as is, and over time, whatever was wrong with the carb cured itself. Over time, I was having problems with the rear tube because the Honda scooter has tubed tires, but the rims have provisions in case you wanted to convert the tires to tubeless. So that's what I did. I got tubeless tires, and the scooter already had tubeless rims. So I got some valves and I put them on the rim, and yeah, I was running tubeless for a while, which was nice because I was blowing tubes. I had a habit of blowing tubes. I think what was happening was the rear brake was getting so hot on the rear wheel that it was causing the tube to burst. I think the tube was getting hot as a result of the hot brakes, and it just burst the tube. So I converted the tires to tubeless tires. And I think that rear one might have had a bead leak or something because it was just leaking over the summertime. I kept on having to add air to it. So because of that damaged tire, I'm gonna have to get a new tire for it, which is not a big deal. And I figured out how to mount them myself. I got one of those big tire spoons from Harbor Freight, and as long as you get the bead of the tire really, really wet, you won't you risk little damage to the beads. Yeah, the first tires I replaced in the back of the scooter, they were cheap Chinese tires that I got off of eBay. the tread seemed really thick on them. I thought these tires would last a while, but it turned out that the tires wore out really fast. So after dealing with two of those cheap Chinese tires on the back, I broke down and I bought more. I broke down and I bought a more expensive Michelin tire, which didn't wear as much. There wasn't that much tread on the Michelin, but it wore a lot less. Yeah, it's a little tricky to mount the tire as long as you get your beads all soaped up and use the proper tools, and then the tires would go on all right. I mean, force the beads a little bit, but not. Don't go crazy on them. Take it easy on them as you're mounting the tire on the rim. Yeah, it saves me money. I mean, I would take beforehand. I would take the tire and rim to the motorcycle shop, and it would cost me about $30 to have the tire mounted. And the second time, I think they increased the price, and then after that, I was just turned off. And over time, I learned to mount the tires myself by hand. So yeah, the next tire I'm gonna have to maybe put a new valve on the rim and clean the beads and make sure I got some bead sealer on the beads so the tires won't leak again. Maybe someday I'll get a bigger scooter. I'm not seriously thinking about it right now, but maybe over time. Um, Maybe when this one, it's kind of like a toss up. Um, it's kind of a toss up. I looked up on the internet like how long, how many miles a Honda Elite 80, how many miles the most. I googled Honda Elite 80 most miles. I wanted to figure out how many miles these scooters could last. And it's kind of a toss up. I mean, there's some scooters out there that have 20,000 miles and they're still running around, or maybe they got 40,000 miles plus and they're still running around. Tractor trailer tires. Yeah, that's a pretty good skill if your kid could do that. Yeah, that's some pretty hard work. Small Kohler engines, I don't know. Um, I don't know too much. Um, if let's say let's say my rototiller, if the engine blew on that, I probably would go to Harbor Freight and just buy like one of those ones they have there to replace it with. It's cheap and it's easy. But it would be nice to have another Briggs on there. But horizontal shaft Briggs are kind of hard to find around here. Um, yeah. If you're lucky, you could find an old horizontal shaft Briggs on an old snowblower. A few of the snowblowers had horizontal shaft Briggs on them. There's some Toros that had horizontal shaft Briggs on engines on them. Uh, Bobcats, they had Briggs on them. Old Gilsons snowblowers. But yeah, I mean, the idea of the Harbor Freight engine would be pretty cool, but I would rather replace it with the one that I would rather replace the engine to a similar one that was on there. Um, it's kind of like me and my brother were talking tonight. He's got a 1980 Chevy C10 two-wheel drive pickup truck that he wants to restore, and he wants to put band on the Run 87. Um, my brother has a 1980 Chevy C10 pickup truck that he wants to restore, a two-wheel drive one, and he bought it, and it has a 350 engine and a turbo 350 transmission. And he wants to take those out, and he wants to put an LS setup in there, Chevy LS. And we were talking, and I told him, I was just like, I don't like the idea of a modern gauge cluster. If I'm gonna put a different engine setup in a truck like that, I would like to have the original gauges. The original, I'd like to use the original gauges. And he says that they have ones out, like they have ones like reproduction ones like that out that you could use with the LS motors. Ones that are not driven by a cable off your transmission. It's all electronic. So yeah, he likes the original look too. I'm not too crazy about the idea of having a modern dash cluster in an old vehicle. I'd like to have the original one or an original looking one. I told him, I was like, yeah, considering a lot of people are doing LS swaps and old Caprices and Impalas, the old box style ones. I bet you there's probably already an aftermarket cluster for those that matches the original. Yeah, banned on the Run 87. And that guy was a hoot. That guy used to drive me nuts to like crazy. Whatever. The old YouTube days when everybody was motivated to make videos. Now it's just not much anymore. I lost my motivation, but people like to still hear from me every once in a while. I still try to make the time to make videos, update videos like these live ones that I do. Um, yeah, I like doing these. And plus, on YouTube, making videos, I mean, they're always changing editing software and all that bullshit. I mean, it's a big turnoff. It is. I like to stick with an old system that always worked for me instead of them changing everything. That's one thing that keeps me from making videos. I mean, I'm too stuck to learning. I'm too stubborn to learn new stuff. I'd rather work with the old stuff that I always worked with as far as editing videos and stuff. Yeah, the old days of YouTube. I mean, yeah, that was a long time ago now. Time flies. I think 2008 I first started. I remember um, there was a kid named ADB 140275 back then. Um, he was a young kid at the time, Alex. He was making videos of his trash picked lawnmowers and his trash picked vacuums. And I was thinking, wow, this kid is kind of like me. And personally, I thought I was the minority in doing this stuff. But YouTube sort of opened up my eyes and showed me that there was a whole bunch of people just like myself all over the United States. Garbage picked this, fixed that. scrap this, scrap that. And I also learned on YouTube from other people too. Learned how to do stuff. Um, yeah. I mean, I probably could have been really successful on YouTube, but I don't like YouTube. I don't like the idea of YouTube having me by my balls. I'd rather do stuff my own way. Like if I'm acting like a fool, I'd rather act like a fool instead of just kissing ass just to earn a paycheck. I don't like that idea. I'd rather just do things my way. I'm pleasing everybody. The people that I've known for years, they all know like an idiot. They all know that I'm an idiot. I'm a fool. I'm a big goofball. Um, I just like to be the way I am. I don't like the idea of other people or other organizations or other companies having me by the balls, um, following their narrative or whatever. I would rather just do things my way. Just like if I make a Whopper, I want it my way. As far as the title of this video, um, yeah, Termy, that guy was. That's one time I'll never forget. Huh. That kind of scared me a little bit, but yeah, I mean that was a pretty freaky time. I was afraid to. I was afraid to get my personal information out, but I just talked over the phone with that. I don't know, attorney or officer or whatever her name was, and everything went perfect. It's not like it's not like it's not like if I was a judge and was confirmed, like Amy Coney Barrett, and I was asked by a bunch of people um, about sexual stuff. It wasn't like that at all. It wasn't like I was interrogated or anything. No, it. Yeah, I remember that was the detective, the woman that um, contacted us, the lady that I had to call. The telephone call went great. I mean, I just told her I just told her what concerns I had and what experience I had with the guy was. Of course, he creeped me out a little bit. I just sort of had an uneasy feeling about him, but I didn't want to confess that. I didn't want to be the asshole. I mean, I wasn't out to ruin the guy or anything. I mean, I'm not like that. Um, I mean, I mean, I know some pretty personal stuff about some people, and I refuse to talk about it because I'd rather have them have their dignity. I would just, I would rather let them have fun and just let them be themselves. Because if anybody found out about their secrets, all hell would break loose, um, and it would just make their lives miserable. And it could end up in a lawsuit too. Who knows? Yeah, she was pretty cool. Yeah, I know some pretty secretive stuff about some people that I refuse to let other people know about because they really don't need to know about it. Um, because everybody's out on a witch hunt. Um, let's say if somebody gets busted for child porn, and let's say somebody gets busted for child porn, I wouldn't let the whole YouTube community um, know about that because if they had a decent reputation, I wouldn't. Let them know about that. I wouldn't, because I feel like it's not something people would need to know. Or whatever. I'd rather I would rather them keep their dignity unless they were doing something that's kind of concerning. Yeah, yeah. Just let them have fun. Let them keep their dignity. Just keep their secrets to yourself. Maybe like if you're at a campfire with them, just talk to them about it. Just heart to heart, let them know that you're not out to ruin their lives. Your secret's safe with them. Their secret's safe with you, or whatever. You just don't ruin their lives that way. Just let them have their dignity. Let them have their fun. Don't Other people really don't need to know that. People suck. You don't. They're always out on a witch hunt. They want to ruin people's lives. I mean, look what Trump went through. People are assholes. Whatever. Blah blah blah. Just just get confusing. I just get confused, like figuring all this stuff out. Yeah, like enough about that. Yeah, I know this woman from work. I mean, she has a shady past. She's pretty cool. I get along with her. Everybody gets along with her. Um, yeah, she has a shady past, which most people don't know about. I mean, I googled her name before, and she had a mugshot and everything. Um, Police record, and she seems to be doing all right. She has a family. She gets along with everybody at work. I get along with her. I don't want to ruin the lady's reputation. I'd rather have her have. I would rather have her have her dignity working there, because there could be a lot of cruel people working there that would just absolutely be that would just be cruel to her. It's not like she took advantage of some kid or anything. It wasn't like that. It was nothing. But I would never, never, ever just. I would just let her have her dignity. Just let her live her life happily. Let the past be the past. Not everybody needs to learn about her past. Just have them figure that out, and just keep it to yourself. Yeah, I just learned of a classmate that I went to school with. I really didn't know the guy personally that much, but I knew of him. Um, he was a big pervert, I guess. Got a bunch of child porn. He had a bunch of child porn on his computer. He got busted. Got his computer taken away. Lots of counts against him on child porn. And he also might have got himself involved with a child too. Who knows? But it seemed like he had a lot of problems being a pervert. And I read that before his sentencing date, he killed himself. So his charges were dropped since he killed himself. And there was really no obit about him or nothing. It was kind of just quiet. I mean, if I was in his family, I mean, I would be I would just keep that on the down low too. Um, the fact that he was a pervert, all this stuff. I mean, I wouldn't let everybody know about that. Um, just have everybody else figure that out for themselves. And yeah, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of nuts that want to like grill perverts and stuff. I understand. I mean, their frustrations, concerns. They don't want these people around their kids and stuff. I understand that. But a lot of people, they just go on a witch hunt. They're nuts. And yeah, if I was in that family, I wouldn't blame them for keeping that situation on a down low, or keeping his life on a down low, or whatever. I don't blame him. But yeah, before his sentencing, I guess he killed himself, so he didn't have to deal with it. It sucks, but I imagine he had some problems. But I would never, if I knew a secret about somebody, I would never let everybody know, because people could be cruel. I would just keep it to myself and let them have their dignity. If they're getting along with everybody, if they're behaving themselves, just let them live their lives. Pog, segs, whatever. Yeah, people suck in this world, really do. I remember my brother saying that his gym teacher told him once. I guess he told him that when you get older, you'd be lucky to have 5 friends on your hand that you could count on, and that's true too. Um, I mean, real friends. I mean, real friends are there for you. They're there for you thick and thin, and that's really rare. Um, like let's say if you are down in your life and you lose your job, and if you cannot pay bills and you end up homeless. I mean, where's your friends when you need them? A lot of them would be nowhere to be found. You got to be your own best friend. That's what you got a new phone. Oh, you got a new phone and you lost my phone number. Okay, I'll email it to you sometime in the next days or so. Oh yeah. Speaking about YouTubers, there was this one YouTuber. He made talking cat videos. He killed himself. I guess throughout his lifetime, he was having psychological problems, um, like depression and all this stuff. He was just struggling with it, and he recently killed himself within the last year, I think. His cats have passed away before him. They were getting old. They were older cats. The ones that the ones that he used to make the videos with. And yeah, I mean, the guy killed himself, and it's sad. Um, the guy had a lot of talent making these funny YouTube videos of the talking cats. And yeah, he struggled with depression and all this stuff. And yeah, he ended up taking his life, and it's sad. And it sucks because I don't think suicide's going to get any less in this world. I really don't. I don't think it's going to get any less. I think there's going to be more of that, unfortunately. Bruh, what? I don't know. Stereo equipment, it's kind of, shit. I'm not the greatest expert on it, but I do know a lot more than some people. Um, I think in your neck of the woods where people spend a lot more money, you might be able to profit big from it. Here in Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin, there's a lot of cheap people. The standard of living is lower than what it is out in Massachusetts. So I don't know. It's not like on this old house where you got $1 million houses that just look ordinary. Ordinary. One way, there's only one way that I would take my own life. Yeah, what between a woman's legs? Baby the rapper. I don't know. I don't know. Imagining dragons. I'm not into that stuff. I'm just a basic guy. Um, I played video games years ago, but I quit it when I got into my 20s. I just couldn't keep up with the changes. When Super Nintendo came out over the regular 8-bit Nintendo, I just gave it up because I couldn't keep up with it anymore. And plus, at the time, um, at the time, um, there was more stuff coming out, and the games they were super expensive, and I didn't make as much money at the time, and I just gave it up. I would have been more. It would have been more efficient just to rent the video games to play them instead of buying them because it would spend you would spend under $5 to rent the game, and then you wouldn't have spent $50, and you wouldn't be out all that money if the game sucked. Getting rid of shingles. Isn't that where you have a rash on your skin? I sometimes used to say that if I knew I was going to die, I would do all the things I wanted to do beforehand. So when I died, I wouldn't feel so incomplete. I never been to Wisconsin Dells before because I live in Wisconsin. I always wanted to go there, and yeah, I always wanted to go to Wisconsin Dells. I wanted to take one of those Upper Dells boat rides with the duck boat, and I wanted to go eat at the Ishnala. I mean, it would cost over $50 to eat at the ignition. It would cost about $50 to eat at the Ishnala, but you got to treat yourself every once in a while. I mean, I'm a cheap person, but yeah, you got to treat yourself every once in a while. Like, let's say you want to buy a big truck, but you want to save money. I mean, you got to treat yourself every once in a while. Buy that truck. Yeah. Goodbye. Have a good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, sweetheart. Back to TV. Roku. Um, so far, my experience with it is awesome. Before I was using the dish, and I watch more TV now with that Roku compared to the dish. And the TV now on the Roku, I can pick and choose what I want to watch, and it's all free. Like I watch A-Team reruns. Um, I watch reruns of the Donna Reed show, which I used to watch as a kid on Nick at Night. Route 66, that's another show I used to watch it on Nick at Night as a kid. Um, yeah, I could watch Heart to Heart too. I used to watch that all the time back when I was little. Yeah, yeah. One of these years, I really wanted to go. Prior to my mom going into assisted living, I really wanted to go to the Dells, but I really didn't want to leave my mom alone and my family with the bear of the responsibility. But now, since I live alone, maybe hopefully, since my mom's in assisted living, maybe I could travel out to the Dells sometime. I remember before my mom got Alzheimer's, she went to the Dells once, and she told me she was like, "You would really like the Ducks boat ride." And the Upper Dells boat ride seems pretty scenic, and it seems pretty nice. More than my cup of tea compared to the Lower Dells. And plus, there's a motel out there, a hotel called the Black Hawk. My cup of tea too. I don't like these resort hotels. They're just a turnoff. I just think they're just trendy shit. I like the old school hotels and motels. I just like that. Yeah, good night, Wolf. I just love that. I just love the idea of going to a vintage hotel or motel. I just love that experience. Um, you see all these postcards of these vintage hotels and motels. Some of them are still operating, some not. Um, you just want to live in the moment. Um, and this Black Hawk motel or hotel, Motel. Um, it's a vintage motel. They modernized some of the rooms, but they still kept the same facade. Some of the rooms got whirlpool tubs, some not. But they got an indoor pool and then they got an outdoor pool too. And plus, the rates are cheap. It's one of the top rated motels in the Dells, I guess. Maybe with the COVID this summer, maybe the rates on the motels would be cheaper, and maybe I can get a good rate and go for a couple days. 11:49, Black Cock Hotel. Go to bed, or else the side live chat is going slow. Which setup? I just got the basic $25 Roku or $29. It was basically just um, a setup that I got at Best Buy. It was just a basic Roku. It wasn't like nothing too advanced. I'm not good. I'm not great on specifications about that stuff. I've heard of people having both Amazon Fire Stick and Roku. I heard you can get more on the Fire Stick compared to the Roku. I imagine it's probably kind of a toss up. There's probably stuff that you can't get on Fire Stick, which you can get on Roku, or if there's stuff, well, vice versa. There's stuff that you cannot get on either one, um, which makes the other one an advantage. Like, let's say the A Team on Roku, it's on the Roku channel for free. Since the unit's a Roku and the Amazon Fire Stick is just a Fire Stick by Amazon, maybe they don't got the Roku channel on those, and you need a Roku to watch the A Team. So yeah, I'm not great on specifications. I just got the cheap Roku at Best Buy. It was like about $30, but I'm pretty happy with it. I get to watch a ton of stuff when I want. Um, there's the satellite dish on the roof of the house. I think in springtime I might get brave enough to crawl up there and remove it because I might convert that over to because you could use the old mast from the dish or the old frame, the mounting frame. You could use it to mount an HD TV antenna, an outdoor one. You could use the same dish wiring too, or the existing dish wiring you could use for the antenna. And you could download a compass on your phone, and you could position the antenna just right so you can get the best reception. Yeah, it's kind of a toss up. I mean, there's a lot of people that say there's a lot of people that say the Amazon Fire Stick is pretty good. It's better than Roku, but I imagine there's probably stuff on Fire Stick that you can't get, which Roku has. But it's better than. I think the bill for the dish was close to $200, and that was with the home phone too, and that was with no premium channels. It was, and with the Roku, you just need um, a Wi-Fi connection, which is instant. Of course, you need a credit card. I mean, a lot of people are not too thrilled about that, but it's not like they're going to charge stuff to your account unless you choose something that you got to pay for. Um, I remember a while ago I was subscribed to Netflix for a while, and I didn't like the idea of them taking money out of my PayPal account every month. They could at least have notified me if I needed. They could at least have notified me if I wanted to renew my subscription for the month instead of actually automatically removing money out of my PayPal account every month for something that I really didn't use all the time. But yeah, you non-TV watchers out there, like let's say Tyler's Neighborhood Garage, he's not a TV watcher. I think he would benefit by getting a Roku if he has um, a Wi-Fi connection at his booney, whatever compound he lives on in southern Hicksville or whatever. um, I think he would benefit by having a Roku because he could watch anything he wants, and there's quite the selection of Good shows to watch, like old shows. You could watch complete seasons of old shows. Um, but I've watched more TV. But I've watched the most TV I've watched in a long time since I got that Roku. Compared to the dish, that dish was useless. Dish was useless. No, I'm not into anime or video games or anything like that. I'm just a simple guy, simple goofball guy from southeastern Wisconsin. Um, that farts or whatever. um, I'm not really a technical person. If people would start to say, "Oh yeah, my computer's got so many megabytes," blah 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 blah, I'd be just totally lost. Just a simple person. Keep it simple. It's been a good night so far. I'm down to three watchers. I had a maximum of almost 10, I think. So Saturday night was good pickings for having a live chat. So as far as spring, I like when I like it. I always loved it during spring. Whenever you would get these major warm spells, it feels good just to get out of the house. Yeah. Have a good evening too. It was nice for you to come by and chat. Have a good night. Good luck on choosing your free service, Roku or Fire Stick, whatever you choose. So yeah, have a good night. Yeah, I never really watched TV much for a long time before Roku. I never really. The variety on the TV sucked, but with the Roku, I can watch whatever I want. Maybe I'll get a Fire Stick sometime. Um, there's not much money lately that I want to toss around for a rainy day. At least not yet. Just want to earn enough money to keep in my pocket and pay these bills on this house. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. Everyone, have a good night. Behave yourselves. Behave yourselves, and I wish you all well in this crazy nutty world with the COVID. I hope they find a cure. I hope these vaccines work. Um, blah 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 blah. Stay safe. Have a good night. Sweet dreams. Bye bye.